You are now listening to or watching the It Takes All Kinds podcast.
Yeah, and if you aren't, you can head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and listen to us now. Or head on over to Drib on YouTube and watch the video version as well.
And if you'd like to stay up to date on when we're releasing a new episode or any other fun information about the podcast, you can give us a follow on Instagram at It Takes All Kinds Podcast and on Twitter at ITAK Podcast. That's ITAK Podcast.
Without saying much else, we hope you enjoy this episode. I'm cranking out these Dr. Peppers like there's no tomorrow.
Oh shit, you got a second one on deck.
Yeah.
You got one up in the batter's box already. You're warming one up at home plate. Those are baseball terms. Welcome to the postseason of Major League Baseball. We're going to be talking about the Atlanta Braves,
the Philadelphia Phillies, the
Texas Rangers,
the Minnesota Twins,
Timberwolves,
the Houston
Rockets,
Astros, the Texas Rangers, and...
Why does Texas get two baseball teams?
Same reason why they have three basketball teams.
Spurs.
One. Mavericks. Rockets.
Shit. I always forget about the Rockets.
Yeah.
Forgot about them since Yao Ming left the team.
I was going to say, huge Yao Ming fan over here.
I was, dude, growing up, man.
You said that man can't get any bigger.
I was like, they couldn't even make a guy any bigger than that.
They can't get much bigger than that guy.
No. What's today? What's going on? What's going on today?
It is Tuesday, October 10th. And you'll be hearing this on Friday, October 13th.
There it is. Right on the money.
Right on the money.
Getting closer and closer to Halloween. Gavin, can you even believe it?
No, not really.
Almost Christmas once again.
Well, we got to get through Thanksgiving first.
I don't count Thanksgiving.
I count Thanksgiving.
Today, folks, we got quite a bit of
episode 136.
Yeah, we got quite a bit of some goodies to talk about on the show. Gavin and I are going to be breaking down our really fun time that we had almost exactly a week ago. That we had a lot of fun at the Eric Andre show.
The Eric Andre.
We're going to be talking. I have a little bit. Speaking of Halloween, I have a little bit of a Halloween look what I found. That's one of my segments that I do occasionally, not very often, but it's coming back just in time for Halloween. We're going to be briefly talking about California banning Skittles. The Rainbow State's banning the rainbow candy. Can you believe it? Nextdoor Drama, a long, good, deep Nextdoor drama about drugs, if you can believe that. With some little...
In this great state of ours?
In this great state. Really? And then some little bonus tidbits from Gavin's dad from the Nextdoor app.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. We got some good stuff. Let's get right into it. So...
I might... I'm gonna talk about my chip story real quick.
Yeah. Gavin's chip story. Let's get into your chip story.
So I might sound a little stuffy because I irritated my throat. I was eating salsa during an intense gaming session. I was eating salsa and chips. I opened up the salsa. I actually was able to get it open. Usually that's like salsa's pretty hard to get open. It was a big lid too, so I had to use my whole
salsa brand.
I think it was just the Schnucks medium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was really good.
Local grocer.
Yeah. And the chips at the top are really big. Don't know if you've ever found that, but chips at the top of a bag are really big.
Well, because tortilla chips are like the easiest, most breakable.
Yeah. So
thing.
I was eating these chips, right, and dipping them in salsa, and I had really big chips, and one of them broke off in my mouth. And I had finished chewing one half of it, but the other half slipped down my throat and got stuck there. I was like, oh shit, I'm about to choke. So I was like, keep trying to swallow, and got a whole bunch of water and drank a whole bunch of water. So I lived, but I felt it go down every inch of my esophagus. It was awful.
I don't think I've ever swallowed a big chip, but it
was terrible.
I don't want to brag, but I've swallowed a chip in my day.
Wow.
I would imagine. Just like, uh-oh.
Yeah, it was like
to really give a cough.
Yeah, it was like and I coughed and nothing came out, and I was like, oh, this is great.
So I want to know
why.
Like,
lodged like halfway, like like it wasn't like it's kind of like it was just stuck, so I was still able to breathe, but it was still like just
you could feel it.
Yeah, it was awful. So I got stuck.
My question is, what makes you think that leads to you getting
Well, it just
a stuffy
irritated.
nose?
It just irritated it, so your body will produce mucus to like soothe it.
That makes sense.
I think.
I you know,
We'll see, but yeah,
it's not the craziest theory I've ever heard.
yeah, it definitely irritated something in my esophagus. So I took some ibuprofen and it went away. So if that's any sign of how serious this is.
But you're still a little stuffy.
It's still a little stuffy from it, yeah.
Chips will make you stuffy. Don't eat chips.
It's also just cold. Yeah, a little cold.
It is, man. It's finally chilling out over here too.
Yeah.
Feels great. I'm so happy about it. I hate warm weather.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad I can put on more layers now.
Yeah.
It's always
Not today though.
No, not today. It was nice this afternoon whenever I was driving home, and it's gonna be 80 tomorrow. So
Did you put the top down?
Yeah, I put the top down. I love convertibles.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I love convertibles.
Well, you drive one.
Yep.
You got a hard top and a soft top.
Yep.
He's a convertible
That's
guy.
not the only thing I got a soft top of.
No, trust me, I know that.
So
I have a soft top
So
minivan.
I live to see another day.
I think most of us are thankful for that. Well,
great.
Not for longer.
Mm-mm.
Not for longer. We're gonna be living. Well, while Gavin cleans himself up.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself. This is like the second time that's happened today too.
I do it all the time.
Man, I'm so mad about this.
That's why I wear black shirts so often, is because I spill a lot. We're big spillers over here. We're gonna rename the show to.
Asked me if I wanted to take something too.
Take a shirt?
Take like a pen, like one of the stain pens.
Oh,
No.
you'll be able to get that out. Give it a little shout spray or a little bleach rub. For audio listeners, Gavin just spilled Dr. Pepper on his shirt.
My white shirt.
On his white shirt, to be specific. So last week, Gavin and I on Wednesday. What was that? Oh, he ran off. Gavin and I on Wednesday of last week were invited to go see the Eric Andre show here in St. Louis at the Factory. It's a new venue out in this place called Chesterfield, which is a very interesting place for a music venue because there's really nothing over there. It's like a pretty much abandoned outlet mall. And then there's the venue. And then there's this like other place that's like I don't even know what they do there. I don't know if it's like a movie theater, if it's like a place. Gavin would probably know. But it's called like Main Event or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then there's a Topgolf. And that's all that's there. Do you know what is Main Event? Is that a movie theater?
It's like a Dave & Buster's.
Oh, it's like a Dave & Buster's. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a very weird area.
It's got bowling and it's got like arcade games and it's got like I think it's got a race car track in there. It's got a restaurant.
Wow, I didn't know that. Have you been?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I've never been. But anyways, besides the point, that's where the location of it was. But we were invited to go by the opener, also known as Mr. DJ Doug Pound, famous for co-hosting Office Hours Live, the show that I work for, and
editing the Eric Andre show.
What's that?
And editing the Eric Andre show.
And editing the Eric Andre show, and among many other things. Who was on the show, friend of the show, DJ Doug Pound. And I hit him up, and I was like,
I have a question. Do you think he remembers who I was?
I don't know.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did, but I also don't. I wouldn't. And I know you're not either, but I don't.
No, I'm not going to be upset if he does.
Right.
Or whatever.
Because it's like he probably meets so many fucking people, like just being out on the. I couldn't imagine. I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I would love to be a touring person who is, famous enough to have people be excited to come meet them.
Yeah.
But also, like, when I meet a lot of people that maybe I've already met, my brain immediately just goes into like autopilot mode, where I'm just like, I like every person I'm meeting for the first time, whether I've met them or not, and then my brain will put two and two together eventually.
You're like, wait a minute, I know this guy.
Wait a minute, and it's also my fault because I didn't express that you were from the show and you guys had already met and made that connection. So it's also my fault. But we haven't gotten there in the story. So hit him up and I said, when you're in town, let's get together. And he's like, do you guys want to come, or do you want to come to the show? And I was like, yes. Invited Gavin along, of course, because he's my immediate plus one for the time being. No, he's usually my plus one for all these kinds of things. And we're both big fans of the Eric Andre show.
I didn't realize how much I quote it.
Yeah, well, and you, before I even brought it up to you, you were like considering buying a ticket to go see it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we went. We got our tickets. We went and saw the show. It was amazing. Spoilers ahead, but Doug opened it up, and he did an amazing job. I've seen Doug live one other time before in Chicago, and I really loved what he does at his show. And I think we even talked about it when we had him on, but he does something that nobody else really does, which is like a comedy DJ set. And I've never seen anybody else like do that as a stand-up set. And he does it, of course, perfectly because he's a super funny guy. One of his jokes that I won't fully give away is that because part of being a comedy DJ set, he plays
samples.
Yeah, he'll say a joke and then like a sample will be like the punchline usually, or like a song will be the punchline or something. And one of the jokes was about the Black Eyed Peas, "Let's Get It Started in Here," which is not what it was originally called. I won't say what it was originally called because that kind of gives away the joke. But then he kind of breaks it down that before it was called "Let's Get It R-worded in Here," it was, he keeps like breaking it down that it was actually like
goes back in time to like
Lou Gehrig's is the giving away the joke there. But very funny. His set was awesome. It was great seeing him, and I was glad that Gavin could see him perform too, and anybody else that gets to go see that. And then Eric Andre came out, and pretty much what he did is, if you've ever seen the Eric Andre show,
he threw a whole bunch of food out.
They pretty much put his set on the stage. He runs out his set from the show on the stage, and he runs out and jumps into his desk and breaks it, of course. And then does a bunch of other things. Like Gavin said, he like has these buffet casserole tinfoil pans set out across the stage that are filled with like lettuce and cheese puffs and some other thing that I couldn't tell. I could just see the lettuce and cheese balls.
Milk.
Yeah, and like milk or something. And he has a squirt gun. But he runs out and he like throws all of that shit into the crowd and makes a big mess. And then they bring out a new desk and he comes and sits down. But then he, not breaking down the whole entire show, but
he called up a couple people.
Yeah, a few highlights were he brought up because he has if you've never seen the show, he has a bunch of guests that come on the show and he pretty much like quote unquote interviews them. It's not really much of an interview. It obviously goes off the rails.
Or just like a prank.
Right. So he brought someone from the audience. That was his first guest. It was just a random person. And one of the things he did is he took their phone and hooked it up to a cable that projected it
to the audience
on the projector so everybody could see. And he would ask the person if they have an ex-girlfriend, if they still talk to them or not, and yada yada. So his goal was to try and get in contact with the ex. And so pretty much what he was doing, and I don't know if he does this at every show, but
he was autocorrecting.
Yeah, he was doing the what is that called? Suggestive text as quick as he could to just send them like a crazy message.
That he called his mom, and he had a 5-minute conversation with his mom.
Right, because his goal was to call the ex who didn't answer. And then so he went to his mom and called his mom and started speaking Spanish with his mom.
And asked for his social security number and all the security question answers.
Yeah, and his mom was a good sport about it and kind of played along with it a little, probably knowing nothing of what was actually happening.
Knowing nothing.
So that was hilarious. The other thing is jumping around in the show a little bit, but the other thing the first thing he did was he called somebody up on stage because he wanted to get, I forgot how he introduced it, but he's like, who wants to get like sexual tonight or something like that. So he always brings a guy up on stage and has this like X contraption that has like straps on their hands and
their
feet.
Ankles. Yeah.
And it's quite interesting because he more or less gropes them. I'm sure there's some
probably
consent
stage.
there.
Yeah.
It might be staged. I don't know. And then he took his pants off and pretended to be rubbing up against them.
Yeah,
or maybe
pretended
literally.
to jack him off.
Yeah, and then brought out a curtain and pretended to jack them off, and then had a hose hooked up to it that shot white
goo.
liquid into the crowd. And then he also brought up 2 people to do a ranch chugging off.
And that turned into a wrap off.
Yeah, because he kept being like, I don't know who's winning. We're gonna have to do it one more time.
Yeah.
It was so disgusting. I was really hoping somebody was just gonna
Vomit.
spew puke.
Yeah. Vomit ranch.
We didn't really talk about this much after or even during, but he did do a whip it on stage with that balloon. I'm pretty sure. Because it makes your voice do this. The nitrous makes your voice do that.
Yeah,
and I mean, like,
sure he did. Yeah.
doing a whip it is not like doing another drug. Like, it's so... I've heard. I've never done it. Not that I wouldn't do it, but I haven't done it.
I see.
But I've heard it's very quick.
Well,
it's
that's
just
why like people have like their entire cars full of whip it stuff.
Right. Because it's just
like,
it's a quick high.
Yeah.
It's a quick high. So I'm pretty sure it was real. I didn't ask, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Because I was going to tell you that night, there's a part, I haven't seen all of the new season, because it's kind of hard to find, not Eric's fault. You can blame that on Adult Swim. But there's a part in it where I think it's when Little Yachty's on, and Eric starts doing whippets, and he's like, hey, man, can I borrow like $4,000? I'm like, I need money. And I was going to bring that up to you. And then he did it on stage. And I was like, that's so fucking funny. But yeah, I mean, as far as I know, I don't see how you could fake doing a whippet and have your voice actually do that really deep voice like that.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to bring up was the end of his show when he comes out to take a bow. he
tucks his penis in, tucks his chicken balls in between his legs and bows.
Like literally, he just comes out with his pants off and he's got like knee pads on too, which I thought was really funny. So I was not expecting that, but not surprised. Because,
you also had the fridge keeper on stage the whole day.
Yeah, we got to talk about the fridge keeper. Fridge keeper was there.
Whole stage show.
Yep. So another thing they've been doing at every stop is they invite a local celebrity to come out and do an interview with as one of the guests. And they originally we found out they were originally going to have Mr. Gary from, what was the show called?
Them's Yo People.
Yeah, which is like a local cable
access show. It's really funny.
I've never seen it, but we had seen him.
Yeah, we saw him at the art museum.
So I knew who they were talking about this time. But apparently that didn't work out. And so
our commitments.
The one and only, not friend of the show quite yet, but
maybe eventually.
Eventually, we did talk to him about that. Clownvis.
He did remember who we were, though.
Clownvis. Yeah. Well, and I had also texted him beforehand too, and been like, "Hey, you know." But the one and only Clownvis came out, and he and Eric are friends and have been for a long time. It sounded like, and so he even said to me after the show, he was like.
He didn't know he was going to do it.
Yeah, but he knew what to expect. And he told me after the show, he was like, you know, you never want to be a guest on the Eric Andre show. But he's like, it did feel good to know what to expect at least a little bit. And nothing that crazy happened. You know, I think
they did give him coffee wine.
Yeah.
I was actually just coffee and wine mixed together.
And apparently they had been giving that to every celebrity guest. Yeah. So that wasn't just like, oh, we know we can kind of take it a little further with Clownvis. They literally gave like the Marble lady in Kansas City who's just like a random
Kathy
person.
Marble, was that what it was?
Yeah, or something. I just know her name was Kathy. But yeah, it was great to see Clownvis on stage, and I think to expose 1,000+ people to Clownvis was cool too.
Yeah,
and he's obviously great. He's been doing this for a long time, so he had no problem, and he had a lot of fun, and did that. But it was great to see him. So.
They did a karaoke on stage.
Yep, they sang a song. Clownvis performed a new song.
He kissed the fridge keeper.
He kicked him in the balls.
He kicked him in the balls.
But then afterwards, we met up with Doug and went backstage. I'm checking off all of the St. Louis venues that I've been backstage on, and that was one of them. Very nice backstage, by the way. If I can give a little.
Yeah, it was much better
than the pageant.
Holy shit!
That pageant is a weird place. It was like a
It's
Sunday
great
school
out.
room.
It's great out in the audience, but back there is like dingy.
It feels like a church.
Yeah.
It feels like a church's backstage. But anyways, we met up with Doug, went backstage, talked to Clownvis, saw him, caught up with all those guys, and then met the one and only Eric Andre.
Yeah.
Came backstage.
He shook our hands. He said our names.
We shook our hands. I think we were the only people
Standing
and introducing ourselves.
Yeah.
Because Doug was like, it was kind of funny because anybody who was on the guest list was there because of Doug.
Right.
Like
yeah,
they were there,
actually.
Yeah, they were all Doug's friends or worked with Doug and stuff. I didn't know all of them. We just met two people. Yeah,
couple.
the farm couple who I don't know the exact connection. I don't know if I think she said went to school
No,
with Doug.
I thought they said they met him in Chicago when he lived there.
Okay.
That was
could
my
be.
understanding, but they don't live anywhere near Chicago.
Right,
so.
and they're like, they loved the show because they were sitting by us. They had a really fun time, but it's like
You asked me if she was famous.
Yeah, I thought at first glance I thought it was somebody I recognized, and it was definitely not. But
Flo from Progressive.
after talking to them, it was very like obvious that they were not the target demographic there.
No.
At the show,
No.
but they still loved it. They still
Yeah.
had a great time, but it was just kind
They
of...
were yelling and stuff like
Yeah, it was funny because they were like, from a farm town and literally farmers.
They're actually farmers. And he showed a cow birth on stage. The farmer,
I forgot about that.
The farmer said that they sped that up.
Did he really? I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, he said
I didn't
they
hear him
sped
say
it
that.
up. Yeah, I was eavesdropping. I did not have a conversation with them.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can eavesdrop.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to talk to Eric a little bit, and obviously super sweet, nice guy. I mean,
Yep.
didn't have a full-on super long conversation with him, but got to meet him and talked a little bit about the show. And
You did get him a couple times.
yeah, I got him. I was trying to razz him.
Yeah.
No, it was just like so one of the things that I want to talk about, because I have to give props to you for it, is that part of Eric's set is he kept bringing up like that everybody
was from Arnold.
Everybody was from Arnold, Missouri, and I looked over to Gavin and I was, because I didn't remember where Eric is actually from, so I was like, wait, is he actually from Arnold, Missouri? And you're like, no, you probably just chose somewhere on the map. And
I was like, they were looking at a map on the way here, and they saw Arnold was there and they thought it was a funny name.
And I was like, sure, okay, Gavin. And then we get backstage, and then I think we asked Doug. No, maybe we did ask Eric. I forgot, because he came backstage and
he introduced himself, or he's like, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
Yeah, and somehow I said something about like, "Oh, we're all from Arnold."
You said like, "Oh, we're all from Arnold." As soon as he came in, he's like, "Really?"
Yeah, he thought we all were. And I was like, "No." And then somehow somebody was like, "Where did you get Arnold from?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know. We just looked at a map and chose it." And I looked at Gavin and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I told you.
I would have not thought that. I don't know why. I just, why would you be looking at a map to find a funny...
That's all what I would do
name.
if I was on a trip.
Like, what's a funny place I could talk about? Let's talk about Arnold.
Yeah.
So that was really funny. But yeah, it was great. We got a picture with him, and Gavin and I had devised a plan the night before when we were recording
We're like,
the
we have to
podcast.
get a picture
with
him because we didn't get one with Vic. We didn't get one with Tim.
I know. I don't know why we didn't.
You got me there.
What do you mean?
But I don't know why we didn't either. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I completely forgot. But we were thinking about how funny it would be to just post that picture on the podcast
No tags
account.
or anything.
Yeah, no caption or anything. Because we didn't talk about it. We didn't really tell anybody beforehand that we were going to go. And we didn't really even know if we were
got to
gonna
brag
meet
to all
him or
my
not.
pharmacy friends about that, too.
Yeah.
I told the night pharmacist about that.
A lot of people had a lot of questions, I would assume. But yeah, it was great. It was great. And of course, catching up with Doug and
met up with a guy who was a crypt keeper.
So we got to talk.
Or the fridge keeper.
The crypt keeper.
He
all
looks
the way
like
back
the crypt
from the
keeper.
90s.
He's modeled off the crypt keeper.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Joe Holiday, who plays the fridge keeper and during Eric's tour, and also was like one of the original prop and like physical or special effects artists on the Eric Andre show.
Yeah.
Who was there, and we got to meet him and talked a lot and found out that he is the head prop person, head prop master of I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah.
One of our favorite shows.
Yeah.
With Tim Robinson, of course. And so we got talking to him, and found out that he did all this stuff, and we're talking to him about, he was bringing up specific, I think you should leave skits like coffin flop. He rigged all of that.
Yeah.
He did all the rigging for the bodies falling out of the coffins.
And then I was like, oh, so I was thinking like, oh, what's the most recent thing? So I was like, oh, did you do the pig mask?
Yep.
And that's what got him started on this on a whole conversation about it.
Right.
So he ended up telling us about like how they switched the pig, like they trained this pig from like birth or something like that to like be okay wearing a mask. It sounds like, which is I guess that's showbiz, baby. But so it sounds like day of or a couple days before they were supposed to shoot, they switched the pig.
I think it was
to, like,
day of.
The day of, they like switched this pig to like a 1.5 times bigger pig, huge pig. That pig was not small, and he said the other one was like still like a kid like pig. So
right,
yeah. So it sounds like he had to put together. He had this Nixon mask already put together, and then he had to like literally like form a new one like the morning of, and then like presented it to them like that day.
Right.
And the one you see was like the one he got a hold of that day.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, it was something like that.
And he showed us behind the scenes pictures of them like trying on the mask for the pig, and the pig didn't want to put it on, and it's fascinating, honestly, that I'd never even think of those kinds of things as like a career or career path or anything like that. I never think of, but that's because I've always been an onstage presence type of person, so it's always like, oh, okay, yeah, I have no vested interest in doing these things. Like, you tell me what I need to bring on stage, I'll bring it. Yeah,
I mean, I've always thought about that kind of stuff because I do have an interest in it, but never in my wildest dreams would I thought that I would have met the guy who makes the stuff for one of my favorite shows.
And made the watch.
Yeah, made the exploding watch. But
made
yeah,
the limo, the back of the limo in that scene too. He said he made like the door, like the thing that moves forward. He said he made that too.
Moves forward.
Because like they're not using the whole limo. There were people in the back borrowing ice.
Oh yes, yes.
He put up the wall in the limo.
Yeah,
he said he built that too.
I'm sure he probably made the decals for the driving crooner.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the pig one was just so interesting to get a peek behind the scenes of all of that. And he showed us all the mask making and production of that, and then
it was such a
pig
big
switch
mask.
thing was so
huge
funny.
mask.
Yeah,
I totally underestimated
the one they wanted
size
to do was massive. It was a huge mask, and then they ended up going with this like smaller one. But yeah, it was just so funny meeting him and hearing all of that, because I wasn't expecting it at all, and we talked for quite a bit with him. Obviously super nice guy. Was just, we didn't really have to ask too many questions. He told us what we wanted to hear, which was great. So super cool guy. Would love to make a further connection with him and have him on the show at some point to talk more, see if we can make that happen. I'd love to do that. But anything else you wanted to talk about from the whole experience?
I don't think so. No, that was just a really, really neat experience to watch the show and then meet up with him afterwards. Yeah. He did. He put on some shoes for our picture, I realized.
Yeah, I did too. I checked that.
Yeah. I was like, he wasn't wearing shoes when we first saw him.
Right. Eric was
not wearing shoes when we first saw him.
Because I was going to say, does he wear like dress shoes on stage? But he wears like some weird white sneakers, like Reeboks or something. Because I was like, maybe it's uncomfortable, but I don't know. I'm sure it gets hot and sweaty moving around that much, so I cannot blame him. The other person we met that I forgot to bring up, and I didn't even write down, was we met Major Entertainer.
Yeah, that's right.
Who we saw perform at the Neil Hamburger show.
Said he recognized you.
Yeah, which was interesting. He like swore he knew me, and I was like, "We've never officially met." I'm like, "You might have seen me on a computer monitor in Tim Heidecker's house."
Yeah, that's about it.
Because he was on Office Hours last December or something like that, earlier this year. When you get a chance to do that. But yeah, so it was super nice to meet him. Also a super great guy. And of course, as usual, shout out to JP.
Yeah.
Because he's the tour manager for Eric and also for Tim, for Tim's tour. And so he's kind of the one that wrangles all the guest list stuff, and obviously super nice guy. And
super chill.
Yeah, I wrote down in the doc that I've seen JP more this year than I've seen Tim, Doug, or Vic in person.
Yeah.
I've seen JP twice. I've seen all those guys once. None of that means anything. I just think it's funny that I keep running into him. Because Because I even said to him when I saw him, I was like, "Hey, JP, long time no see." He's like, "Yeah," which I thought was funny. But
Yeah, it sounds like they're having a lot of fun doing this show.
yeah, but I also think it's like super tiring.
Oh yeah, yeah. It sounds like it's a lot of offhand. Like,
yeah, because that's what we talked
stuff.
to Mike, Major Entertainer, about. Yeah. It's just like how many they have all these
table
that
they
all
put
the
together a
desks
day
set up.
of. And
yep, they have to mark everything, set it up. It's pretty much JP, Mike, Doug, and then Joe. That set up everything.
Yeah,
because they, it's too specific to have anybody else really help out with.
Yeah.
So there's a shit ton of work they put into it. Luckily, this tour is like very broken apart, so they're already like off for like a week, I think, because Doug's going to be on office hours this week. He's back, and then they're like off late next week again for like another week or so. So it's like, thankfully, it's broken up.
Yeah,
which it gives
otherwise
them
it would
enough.
be like a marathon.
Right. That would be a lot to put together, but. If for whatever reason, whoever you are listening to this and you have a chance to go see them, please do. It's a great show that they put on. They're hardworking group of folks that work on it, and it was a ton of fun and insane. It was nuts.
Actually nuts to see how that all came together.
Yeah, very, very, very fun time. But moving on, over the weekend I got to go, actually 2 days ago on Sunday, I went to the drive-in movie theater. And don't sing a song, because I know you want to when I say drive-in.
I didn't.
No, he didn't this time, surprisingly. It was a lot of fun. I go every year for Halloween. They do a thing that they call Slash Fest.
They don't call it... Nah, never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Uh-oh. I want to know what it was, but he's not going to say it. I went on Sunday, though, and it was a good time. I saw Child's Play 2, which was a absolutely awful movie. And Army of Darkness, which is the third movie in the Evil Dead series, which I really liked a lot. That was really fun. And then you could say that.
No,
That's
I'm not
fine.
saying it.
And then the third movie was Tremors.
Oh, Tremors
Kevin
is such a
Bacon.
good... I like that movie.
It's dated, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie at all.
It's funny to see Kevin Bacon.
It's not a very thrilling movie either.
No, not at all.
It is not.
It's not scary at all.
Not scary at all. It's a very like goofy type of movie.
Yeah, it was funny to see Kevin Bacon play this like country boy, cowboy country boy. I'm surprised you've seen that. That's like
I think I watched Tremors 1, 2, and 3.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
we might have to see the other ones.
But 3 is actually not that bad, I don't think. Or one of them's really bad. One of them is abhorrent. The other ones are really good though.
Okay, maybe I'll have to check them out. But yeah, I enjoyed my time seeing those, and love going to the drive-in theater. It's a good time.
Did you happen to get away from it all?
I ran away. Doesn't he say that?
Yeah, I think
Run
so.
away, get away. Doesn't he say that? I don't know. Whatever, dude.
Not singing it.
Yeah.
Not this week. That was my irritated esophagus.
No, God forbid.
I got pharyngitis. Is this your Halloween?
Oh wait, I have to play this first. Sorry. Moving on to my segment that I do before I play that music, and I have to give a little intro for it. So here's a little intro for Look What I Found. Do I have that? Uh-oh. No, here I do.
Look what I found. 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 Look what I found.
Just seems so quiet. Look What I Found is a segment I do every once in a while where I find something weird on the internet, usually a video, but not all the time, and I show it to Gavin and I share it with the audience. This one is not a video though. This is a story, and I would like to get my little spooky music because it's a Halloween edition of Look What I Found. It's a scary story, and it has pictures that I will show on screen, and I think you'll want to see them, and I'll show them to Gavin too. But I found...
That's my scream.
That's my scream. I found this story scrolling Instagram and then immediately dove right into it to find out more. But it's from 2020, And the title of it is There's a House in My Attic. Now, what the hell does that mean? Gavin, I know you're asking me. And
That's
I would
my
like
eyes
to tell you.
whenever I heard that story. I said,
This is from July of 2020. June or July of 2020.
not a lot was going on then.
Now,
I'm not kidding. There was a lot going on.
this story was originally posted to Reddit, but
You know what? I
reading-
have seen this.
I bet you have.
Yeah, I have seen this. I'm chronically online. I saw this.
I'm reading a recount on the blog posting website messynessychick.com
Wow.
because they did a really good write-up on it, which is funny. Well, it's decent. There's some things in here that
Holes.
are kind of stupid. But hold on, I was trying to find a Redditor who goes by the username Mr. Griff shared photographs over the weekend of a recent excursion up to his attic where he discovered the dilapidated remains of an entire house. A real Texas Chainsaw Massacre looking house at that, complete with rotting floral wallpaper, windows intact, light fixtures, a bathroom, some abandoned belongings, and a whole lot of spiders. So here is where I will show you the picture. These I don't really understand, but...
Yeah, I have seen this. Yeah.
So this is an entire house. The best way I can explain it is it's an entire house in an attic.
That's an astute observation.
There's
No,
literally...
but it's crazy because it's like they, just keep the scary music playing. But it's crazy to look at because it's literally like the front of a house in this guy's attic.
in the attic.
In the attic, and there's like insulation on the floor and everything leading up to it. Like this guy clearly, I mean, it's possible that he built this, but I don't think this is too detailed for someone to make during quarantine or something like that.
Right.
Because that's when this was like, first reported.
Right.
So,
Because even the inside has the insulation on the floor.
Yeah.
But it also has the flooring of the house. And we're kind of going through these pictures.
It's very,
Rooms.
yeah, and it's just weird. Like, I have a feeling it has something to do with the old owner of the house wanting to keep his childhood home or something like that. And he put it up in the attic where he's like, I didn't want to lose it. I didn't like preservation.
So...
Is it something like that? No.
Not really,
Okay, good.
but
Okay,
maybe.
good. I didn't want to spoil the story anyway.
According to Mr. Griff, the mysterious abode hiding in his attic used to be a 2-story building where the owners lived upstairs and ran a store out of the ground floor.
Okay, there you go.
The second floor of the old clapboard house was later sealed off and a large attic built around it, while a C-shaped add-on was built around the ground floor and converted into a church. The age of the original house within it is not known. Quote, I'm guessing the church owners didn't want to bother with knocking it down, so they just built around it, end quote, says Mr. Griff.
Huh.
The property was recently purchased with plans to be converted into a private house again. The exterior photo of the house shows the side where the attic and roof goes higher because there's a damn house up there. Mr. Griff says the floor in the old house is lower than the attic, which is only accessible by a small square hole. Which I don't really know what they meant by that. I guess they're just talking about this? That didn't really make a ton of sense to me. After a brief poke around the old house, he found out I was like a head, old cabinet, toilet, sink, lots of junk, dirt.
Wonder if it's still hooked up with water and stuff.
I don't think so. The unsettling discovery brings to mind a strange and dark history of disappointment rooms, which is kind of like a whole thing that has nothing to do with this story. But it was an interesting read. I don't know if you know anything about disappointment rooms.
Yeah, it's where they put the mentally challenged people, family members that they didn't want to hide, that they didn't want people to see.
Right. As for our house within the attic on Reddit, the true scenario is hopefully far less sinister. One Redditor responding to Mr. Griff's post noted, some cities have rules that will allow you to freeze tax rates, bypass heritage rules, even tax breaks if you use some or all of the existing structure when rebuilding or remodeling. So are there plans for the creepy house in the attic? Quote, it would be fun to fix up. I'd have to see if the walls are moldy, and I'm sure all the plumbing and wiring needs to get redone.
It would be it honestly would be really freaking creepy as a child to go up there, but like as like a teenager, that would be fucking sick to go into.
I think it'd be scary at any point. Cause
Well, I mean, once you get the lights and everything working up there, it would probably be
Right.
like normal. But I can't imagine that like that would be the safest place to be either.
No, not. I'm sure it's not.
I bet it smells and it's got like a whole bunch of shit wrong. Like I bet there's something.
But could you just imagine not knowing anything about it and being like, "Oh, let me."
No, it would have
up
been
the
way
attic.
freakier if someone was living up there the entire time.
Oh
and you
yeah,
didn't
well
know
of course. But like, who know? If you went up there, you don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, like he might not have known right away.
Well, I've seen videos of realtors touring a house, and there's someone living there.
Oh
Like,
really?
There's like squatters in like the
Squatters?
basement.
Oh
and-
shit.
Yeah, which is like a fear of mine is going into that's one of my worst fears is going into a house, expecting no one and then finding someone.
When would that happen?
If I like was, I don't know when that would happen, but if it was like, just like if I'm home alone and then it's like, oh, I know no one's home.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and then it's like something is here, like that's really
Right.
scary.
That would be that's honestly a fear of mine too. Is that
Like all the lights are off, everybody's gone to bed, or nobody's home but you.
right?
And then there's someone there.
But you don't
Yeah,
know.
but you don't know
find
it.
out.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Someone thought that recently on the internet somewhere. There was a raccoon living in their house. Eventually, they found out.
Oh,
Yeah, that's another scary story. They like put out like powder and stuff like that, and like put like a pizza in the middle of the powder, and they found that it was just a whole raccoon living in their house. I don't know where it ended up being.
sorry.
Whoa.
You know what? That kind of happened to
You.
to me living here before I moved. This was like probably
You had a squirrel, didn't you?
well, we don't know. It was like the winter. I might have even talked. No, because this was.
Before we started this.
I think so. I'd be like in the living room of my parents' house where I am right now. And in their living room, like, in that corner where that window is, like by the sliding door, I kept like hearing like a scratching on the ceiling. Like it literally just sounded like something very slow was like moving around and like it just sounded like that. And it would happen every single night. And I kept hearing, and like late at night too. So I would just be like, I'd be walking around the floor, all the lights.
because you used to live over there. You used to live on that side
This was
of the house.
before I lit. This was when I was upstairs.
Oh, okay.
So I would like come downstairs to like get something, and then I would just hear that noise, and all the lights would be off, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And so finally I pinpointed where it was and found out it was there. And then my dad, there's like a crawl space up there that he went up into, and I can't remember if he found droppings or not, but he ended up like sealing it off, and I don't think we heard that noise anymore. So we don't know if it was a squirrel or if it was a raccoon or what.
We had birds living in a tube. Essentially a tube in our house. A tube.
In your house? Where?
Yeah. At the house we live in now, in my bathroom, there were some birds. That like, we had like an open like exhaust pipe for like a bathroom fan. And they lived in it. And I didn't know what it was for a while until I started hearing chirping from above my shower. And I was like, this is bizarre.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kind of happened to me.
But my old house would creak a lot in the wind. So as a child,
really?
and it had a lot of spots that would creak. So like, I learned where they were, obviously, because I'm a kid.
Sure.
But like, whenever the house would creak and like everybody was asleep, it was the scariest thing as a child.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, this is ridiculous. Like, there's someone walking around out here.
Yeah, I think.
And
we
it's
didn't
possible one of
have any
my
that.
siblings were because we all lived in different rooms. So it was
Right.
like, maybe one of them was. I don't know.
Never know.
And we had dogs, and dogs would just move so slow though. Like it wasn't like they were like getting somewhere quick. It was
Right.
like they were taking their time.
You
was
knew it
scary.
was the dogs,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
But that's my look what I found Halloween edition.
There was one time where my bed all of a sudden like
Yeah, you told me about this.
yeah like someone sat down at the end of it. That was the scariest part of my.
I think we talked about that on Halloween.
Yeah,
last year,
still
I wanna
crazy.
say.
Still I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, like, this
Well, I
is-
was thinking about. I think I've also shared this on the show, but when I probably had sleep paralysis when I was really young, just one time, not like it was a constant thing, but I like woke up really early in the morning, and I just remember I couldn't move, and I didn't know why, but it just looked like because my bed, we didn't have a door on my brother and I's room that we shared. We had a bunk bed. I was on the bottom bunk, and my like bed, I could see out the door into the hallway upstairs. And I just remember waking up, and I thought I couldn't move because I was scared to move. I didn't want to. But I just remember seeing a silhouette standing at the end of the hallway by the staircase where you could like see the light coming up. And I couldn't really make out a face, but I kind of could. But all I remember is seeing that.
The Hat Man.
And like sitting, like laying there, seeing it, not moving for a while. And then I don't remember anything. Like, I don't remember if I woke up. I don't remember if I went back to bed or what ended up happening. But yeah, that was a weird, spooky experience.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what else is spooky?
What's that?
Freaking liberal California.
Oh yeah, that is
crazy. Gruesome Newsom wanting to ban Skittles. Can you believe it? This guy's got homeless people all over the place, Skid Row, and he wants to get rid of Skittles. That's what he thinks the problem is. He's not worried about drugs. He's worried about Skittles. That's what his platform is. I swear that's what he said. That's what he said. No, the headline is much better than the actual story is, because it's actually
it's banned
boring.
in other countries.
Oh yeah, they've
Skittles
had stuff
have been banned for a while.
Yeah, and they have like probably for similar reasons. But I found out a while ago that most other countries don't have orange colored Tic Tacs. All of their Tic Tacs are just white, and the boxes are colored. Probably for the same reasons of food dye and stuff like that. I also, kind of off topic, but I found it ended up not being that juicy of an account, but it's this lady who like apparently is like a clean living guru mom, but she like doesn't really talk about it. But she had one post about red dye 40.
Oh yeah.
And like her kid was in a candy store like being like,
no, this has red dye 40 in it. Can't have it.
But he's like 3 years old. Yeah. And he's like screaming at a thing of candy, and she's like, now why don't people want to buy it? He's like, because it has red 40 in it.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, yeah. And it was like very weird. But so this bill that became known as the Skittles ban is now California law. Here's what it does. California became the first state in the nation to ban the use of
Skittles.
4 food additives commonly found in thousands of products across the United States, including cereals, sodas, and candies.
That's also why they have a lot of stuff like this is known to cause cancer in California.
Yeah, you see that like everywhere.
Everywhere.
Well, and there's also just like there's a lot of things that you'll just see like California notice, yada, yada, yada on it.
Yeah.
Like
I had
a lot
that
of
in my
shipping
saxophone
things.
case.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's something about shipping things that like there's
Yeah.
a California.
And there's something with
thing
silicone, I
about.
think. That it ships with silicone
Interesting.
too.
Huh. I wonder what that is. But
Don't know.
they're banning brominated vegetable oil,
Okay, yeah.
potassium bromate, propylparaben, and red dye 3. Not red 40, red dye 3.
Then what's the point?
These 4 chemicals are used in as many as 12,000 food products across the country, despite never having been approved for consumption by the FDA, according to Environmental Working Group. Advocates have long expressed concerns about the potential health problems that can be caused by eating products containing additives which other countries have already banned. So, yeah, they just haven't been approved. I thought I read something that like these were known to cause cancer. But maybe I read that wrong. I don't know, but either way they weren't approved.
They're not approved for human consumption, so they think that the FDA should be held to a higher standard than that. So
I don't really necessarily disagree with it.
I don't disagree. I mean, you need to probably approve of things before you start putting it in food.
Right. I'm not like taking any sort of, I'm obviously joking whenever I say gruesome Newsom getting rid of the Skittles, because it's probably a good thing. Let's be honest. Yeah. Obviously, the FDA should get approval for things
using
like
things
that.
like that. Yeah.
They got enough flack for that about the COVID vaccine, which they fast-tracked to get approved, which they did get approved. I guess that wasn't the FDA, was it? Or wait,
no, that was the FDA.
It was. Yeah,
Food and
I'm
drug.
sorry. Food and drug. It's not just food.
Food and drug, folks.
Food and drug, folks. But this won't even take effect until 2027 because they're giving these companies time to reinvent their ingredient list.
Reinvent the ingredient list, folks.
And the way that they make these products. So
you got to make it a little bit better than that.
They gotta.
You think you can get it past liberal, gruesome, Newsome? You think you can get it past him? This guy wants to control the food you eat, folks.
Let's indict the motherfucker.
Let's indict the motherfucker.
But Skittles is just
Yeah.
on the list of many.
They have until
12,000
2027. You have until
items.
2027.
Let's play a game. You want to play a game? You want to play a game? You better get rid of the Skittles. December 31st, 2025. I want you 2026. I want you to get rid of all the Skittles. You can have Red Knight 3 of those Skittles. I want you to get rid of it. Get rid of the Skittles.
A Jigsaw wants to get rid of Skittles.
You want to play a game? Do you want to play with Skittles? Would you like to eat some Skittles? I'll take away your Skittles if you don't stop eating them. If you don't stop eating them.
That's crying.
Get rid of the Skittles. Stop trying to eat the Skittles. They're bad for you. Just please play a game with me. Play a game. Play a game. Do you want to play a game? Do you want to smoke some cigarettes instead? Do you want to play a game on my phone? You want to play a game? On my phone, I have a lot of free games, no ads. Do you want to play Angry Birds? I have Apple Arcade. Hey, do you want to play pinball? Pool on Apple Arcade. I'll send you a text. I'll send you a game. Play Battleship? I'll send you the game right now, I swear.
Moving on, though, Gavin.
How did you know where my ship was? How did you know? How did you already sink all my ships?
Moving on
fair.
to a weekly segment we do called Nextdoor Drama.
Nextdoor Drama.
Nextdoor Drama, which is if you don't know what Nextdoor is, it's the infamous blog posting website for your neighborhood, which is up to a certain mile radius, where people can post whatever the hell is going on. Kind of like what people do with Facebook, but it's more it's just random people. Anybody can join who's in your neighborhood and post whatever they want. And it's a lot of just trash. It's always pointless. There's never anything on there that's of any use. But I guess unless you're missing a dog, which is literally the reason I found out about it, was because someone's dog got lost, and I went on there to see if anybody could find it. And that's actually, I think, how we found the dog. Funny enough. So that's the only thing that's really useful for. But yeah, people just post whatever they want, and every week Gavin and I find a blog.
I always send those dogs to a kill shelter.
Oh yeah. A kill shelter known as my garage. Turn the car on. We just let the exhaust go.
Yeah.
And next morning, no more dogs.
Don't have to worry about it.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Don't even have to waste the money to take them to a kill shelter.
That's
Real
terrible.
cheap and easy. I just charge people $100. I say, bring me your dog, your animal. We'll get rid of it. No problem.
Yeah.
Haven't been caught yet. So every week we take a blog entry from Nextdoor. Obviously that was a joke. I don't feel like I even need to say that. And we take the blog entry in the comments. We script it out. We do a dramatic reenactment of it, and it's a lot of fun. Set to music.
Set to music. We're going to set it to music.
So we're gonna set this one to music.
What do you think we set this to music?
What do you think we turn this one up?
You want to play a game on my phone?
This Nextdoor Drama is titled "The Drugs Are Getting Out of Control." So keep a close eye on the little ones, Gavin. Keep a close eye on them. You're gonna be playing the character of Frederick, who's a human drug sniffer. That was the best thing I could really say for him. And I will be playing Andrew, who's the voice of reason. This is a long one, so without saying much else, I will be playing the Nextdoor Drama intro song, and we'll get right into it. Everything okay? Okay.
Do you have any games on your phone? I'm playing a game. Sorry, guys, I played a game.
This week on Nextdoor Drama.
Here is a friendly suggestion. Do not let your children pick up any cash you find laying on the ground. I was at the Goodwill in Offilin. I seen a 5 crumpled up on the ground. On the inside was a bunch of powder-like substance. Also around town, I have seen small baggies with a powder residue. The drugs are getting out of control, so keep a close eye on the little ones. I know when I was a kid, finding cash in the ground was like us hitting a jackpot.
I appreciate the drug advisory, but I'm fairly certain this is not a trend. Drug users need money to purchase drugs. I doubt they're taking this money, sprinkling drugs on the money, and putting on the ground for children to find. Drugs are a problem everywhere. Just be vigilant, and I think you'll be safe enough from killer money.
It's not a wives' tale when I'm finding crap laying all around town. So maybe you should go out more because it's laying all over.
Since you are finding so many, and I'm skeptical as I am outside nearly every day and don't see these drugs just laying around, how about a picture of said powder since you have empty bags of them all around you? Would love to see proof on this app rather than potential fear-mongering with zero proof.
Lots of drug addicts are not aware when they drop or loose money that has drugs in or on it. It happens every day. I don't loose my money because my judgment is not impaired, and when I put money in my wallet or my pocket, I make sure that it actually makes it there. Those who are under the influence don't acknowledge when money, drugs are lost until they go to use it again.
Drug addicts are so involved in their habit, they will use every bit. Don't just drop unused product and money.
This is crazy. Come on, bruh. You ever knock over a bottle of beer or spill liquor you were trying to pour while completely wasted? Of course you have. You didn't want or mean to waste that magic sauce, but then motor skills were lacking. Ability to focus was straight busted. Short-term memory loss after 8 seconds, and that was just drank. Imagine how fried you can get on that dust. I saw a tweaker just wander into traffic once. He thought he was just shuffling down a sidewalk and he's out here playing damn human Frogger. So yeah, they be dropping money. And if it's from the same pocket as that Go powder, it's perfectly conceivable some might transfer or be lost with it. Also, why would he just make this up? He probably didn't take pictures because he didn't know what was going to didn't know he was going to post in a courtroom. If you don't believe him, snatch that nasty money up if you see some. Buy us all drinks with it. Me thinks you'll think twice though, or at least pick it up with a sock or something.
I tried picking up money with a sock, but most socks don't go the places I go. So here I am, broke, sockless, and drugless.
There have been warnings posted that people are dropping money with fentanyl spelling. Don't touch it. Call the police and report it.
Did this?
Fentanyl. That's how she spelled it.
That's Rihanna's brand.
Yeah.
Did this really happen to you, or is it just a copy OS bullshit?
This is true! We just discussed this last night! My neighbor is an officer. He told us about a child that picked one up. That the child almost died. It absorbs into your skin.
Wrong!
Sorry, yes it does.
Nope.
That's true!
It was very fun.
You changed the volume?
No.
You're crazy.
You're so crazy. Fentanyl. Spelling.
Spelling. She knows it wasn't right.
No, but it's not like you're online and can't go search it up and spell it right.
She wasn't getting it close enough to figure out what it was.
Spelling.
Do
you know it absorbs into your skin?
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Powder gets into your skin.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
That does not do that.
It doesn't. It can if it's a gel thing.
If it's like a gel or like a liquid.
Right. So there is.
Chances are you can't pick up liquid fentanyl off the ground.
No, nobody's leaving patches around unless you're in a hospital. Which
right.
Again, how would you find that? I was telling Gavin before the show that this was a very good entry. Oh, when you get a chance to meet them? Okay. This is a very fun entry, and it had so many great comments that I couldn't choose them all. And some of it I realized during the reading that it was a little confusing to know who what character we were playing at times, but I couldn't not put that one with the "come on, bruh," because it made me laugh so hard. But one of the things that I wanted to read about that like kind of ended this conversation finally, because somebody actually knew what the fuck they were talking about.
It said, "Pharmacist here."
Actually, more interesting than that. As a former addict and a current alcohol and drug counselor, addicts aren't dropping their products all over town to entice people to laugh out loud. It's a complete wives' tale. I don't know why people kept saying that. Also, I'm going to say this louder for those in the back. You cannot overdose by simply touching fentanyl. Impossible. It has to be ingested intravenously, smoked, or through a membrane such as nostril/mouth. Again, you cannot overdose by being near it or even touching it. And yes, I know your cousin, sister, brother, cop, blah, blah, blah. But then I ended up reading something else about it that the gel ones that they use in like a hospital, even that, you have to have it on for like 14 minutes before it actually has any effect.
Yeah,
overdosing on it is impossible.
There's a phenomenon with drug. It needs to like kind of saturate saturate your body before it actually goes to where it's supposed to.
Right.
So it's not just, unless you're snorting fentanyl, it's not going to make you have like, it's not going to make you pass out. The passing out is because you're being overwhelmed and you're being fear-mongered into it.
So are you saying my cousin who's a cop, he was just near fentanyl and he passed out?
Yeah, that's a panic attack.
But there's fentanyl though.
Yeah.
But fentanyl was present.
That's the most frustrating thing, is trying to explain that. And that's also why like drugs just don't work immediately.
Right. They have a delayed effect.
And the best way to make sure that it doesn't take a while to make it work is to put it under your tongue. So anything that's like supposed to be like, or don't do that to any like oral tablets you see. Right, but I mean, like I'm talking like oral disintegrating tablets. That's what they are called. They're meant for that. So like nitroglycerin for chest pains that people have to take. Whenever they have like onset of chest pain, they put it under their tongue because it works the fastest and it doesn't have to be sent through the liver to work.
They don't. I'm sure that they just don't ask them to smoke it.
Yeah, no, they tell them to freebase it.
Yeah, Freemason.
Yeah, Freemason it.
Yeah, no, it is an old wives' tale.
Yeah, that has never been true. That always bugs me, especially with the cops doing it.
Yeah,
but they're the ones that see it the most. You know, that's what they say. They always say the ones that see it the most are the ones that are affected the most, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
and they're seeing it.
I always see this stuff about cops using multiple Narcans.
Yeah,
which is crazy because it only takes one.
Yeah. To bring someone
back to life, essentially.
Who's like crazy, way overdosed. Yeah. I was trying to find another thing about it because this guy who made the entry, Frederick, was very adamant that he
has been finding
that he keeps finding them. I was trying to find. I don't know. Another thing he said was, "Yes, it really happened. The people I live with also confirm it." So apparently he keeps finding drugs everywhere.
Well, that sucks.
And then I can't find it. Or maybe this is another good one. It might not be a trend, but it's still good information to have. If you were someone who thought laterally, you'd see that this is just one example of a way a child could be harmed or even killed. Maybe drug users aren't baiting folks by leaving their precious drugs inside a crumpled bill, but a pill can be dropped, a little residue of cocaine can be found on a thrown away card or piece of paper, and if that cocaine was laced with fentanyl, the tiniest bit could kill a child. Parents need to be cognizant of this kind of thing so they become more vigilant regarding anything at all that their children might see lying on the pavement or in the grass.
I hope that they keep this
parenting.
I hope that they keep this same mindset whenever they have to be given midazolam syringes, which is another. I think midazolam is.
I've heard of it.
Versed. That's Versed is what it is, but
What's Versed?
the brand name of midazolam, but they use it for, pain control. So
Okay.
it's actually probably a little bit more potent than fentanyl. So it's the same opioid type of thing. It's a control too.
But they're only worried about the fentanyl is what you're saying.
Yeah, which is like, it's, God, it sucks so much. Like, there's medical reasons why they need this. You can't just go ahead and like start banning it or, start, saying like, oh, we have to control it. It's like, it is controlled already.
Right.
It's just not like, it's controlled in the United States. What do you want us to do about it?
Yeah, but it even more than that, it's just the like, watch over your kids to make sure they don't pick up anything.
It'd be
ever.
different if your kid was putting shit in their mouth all the time.
Right.
Maybe then I would be a little bit concerned about it. But if your kid's like 7 or 8 and they know better than to put shit in their mouth, I would
you
not be
need
worried
to
about it.
Watch them all 24/7
Come on.
to make sure they don't pick up anything. I was trying to find the other because there was another really.
There's
funny
also a
thing.
lot of white powder in the in the world.
In the world, yeah.
There's sugar, there's flour. Like, I'm not saying that you would find that out in the street, but it's possible.
Right. And I'm not doubting that people have not at some point in their life found a bag of drugs on the ground. But to say it happens to you all the time is nuts. Oh, okay, this was what it was. No, that wasn't what it was. Somebody I don't know if I can find it. Yeah, somebody was like saying that they read a story where I really wish I could find it.
Can you do Control F? Or is that like a Twitter thing where it'll pull up every single instance of it ever? I really gotta pee.
Sorry. I can't find it now. Oh, here it is. No, that's not. Oh, yeah, here. Yeah, this is it. I've seen this firsthand as a nurse where I lived before and the powder was tested positive for methamphetamines. Cheap to make, easy to hook folks. They were small packets all along the walking trails. So they're talking about like a Hansel and Gretel type situation where somebody was leaving bags of meth.
They go, nope. Nope. Yeah.
Dink.
Okay, we got a 1,
Gonna
2,
lead 'em
3,
there.
drop. 1, 2, 3, drop.
We're going to lead him back to the meth house, to the meth lab. But they were a nurse. They've seen this firsthand,
Yeah.
Gavin. Okay? So fuck around and find out.
And then a couple other posts on Nextdoor that my father found.
Your Fajer.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Uh-oh. Here it goes. Uh-oh. That chip's coming back to bite again.
Yeah, it is. Actually felt pretty good. This crossed my news feed. Interesting is something most everyday citizens would have no knowledge that goes on.
And then explain what the post is.
The post is, why is there a it's a picture, these are all screenshots. It says, why is there a patent for subliminal acoustic manipulation of the nervous system, ? Patent number 60173203028. And then it's got like a 5G tower, and then it's got like a diagram of wavelengths being something, and then it's arrows into more wavelengths, and then going into the air, going into the brain, and then the ear.
So this, I'm assuming, was in reference to the national alert test? Or
Yeah,
was, okay.
I think so. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure this was in relation to that. Because I also saw TikToks where people put the mom or their dad had them foil wrap everything. Every single like microwave, oven, doorknobs, light bulbs, everything.
That's so funny.
Which is like,
Tinfoil.
come on, man.
I saw one. I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to find the post. But on Nextdoor, it got sent to my email. That was somebody just like being like, what do we think about this test that's going out tomorrow? And there's a bunch of comments. And one of the comments said that they're like, I don't know what it is, but I'm definitely putting all of my devices in a something box. It was some sort of
Like
box.
a lead box or something.
Yeah, it had a specific name, but literally the box, and like I don't even know if you can buy one. I think you have to literally make one. But it's like a box that doesn't send out certain signals or like sounds. It like traps sound in it or something. It's some like crazy thing that only these lunatics would make. But I was like, how do you... And they like said it like everybody would know what they're talking about. And like I seek out crazy people saying insane shit.
And that
like
was
I should know
actually
what
off the
that
rails.
is. I'm gonna actually I can pull. I don't know why I'm not going to my history.
And then there was another one where it was a poll, definitely a typo, or like a pocket thing where they put in their pocket and they were walking around.
Right.
It says I don't QE to you, but www period, with the poll options of PO or QF. And PO was winning 67-33 with 3 votes.
Yeah, and so Gavin and I were making jokes about
Poe's running away with it.
we were talking about how Biden's ruining it and QF should be winning.
Yeah.
But it's just this crazy
Plain spoiler.
typo poll. But that just goes to show you the awesome people that are using Nextdoor.
Technologically advanced, some would say.
It is called a Faraday cage.
Oh, I have heard about that.
A Faraday cage or Faraday shield is an enclosure used to block electromagnetic fields. So not sounds.
I've seen this. I've seen this on Twitter, where people are like, it is very much like that, where they like build that, and you do have to like buy the stuff for it. It's not built for you.
But this person was like, "Oh, I'm definitely putting my devices
in a Faraday
in
cage."
I can probably find what they said too, real quick. But yeah, man, people were. We didn't really talk about that last week, which I feel like we kind of should have, but
You went off in class. I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you're fine. Go take your break. I can find this real quick. Yeah, people were losing their mind about this emergency alert signal. I know everybody knows what we're talking about. Oh, that one was deleted. I hope that wasn't the one, because I'd love to pull this up. People were so just losing it, so afraid of this happening. Is this it? No. Oh, it might have been an older one now that I'm thinking about it. I might have pulled it up earlier in the day, or maybe even the day before. Yep. Any thoughts on tomorrow's nationwide alarm system testing? And surprisingly, not as many people being as losing their mind about it. Obviously, a few. I mean, we live in fucking Missouri, but a lot of the people who were freaking out about it aren't really online, which is a good thing, or aren't really like posting on here. They're worrying about other shit. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, actually, surprisingly, a lot of people like boomers in the know about this, like the conspiracies about it. A lot of people like making fun of it, which again, I was happy to see that, because like, in my opinion, as soon as I saw this post, I was like, oh man, people are going to be like way in the weeds of the conspiracies about it. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people were also talking about Russia doing something the day before, and like that could be, they were like worried about that for some reason. Sorry. No, you're fine. I've been looking this whole time for this one comment, and I can't find it. Of course.
People interacted with that post, I guess.
No, it's not even that many. That's the weird part of it too. Oh, I didn't get all the comments. That's why. I had to expand it.
Yeah,
now I'm enhancing. Oh, there's another one that said some interesting videos on band.video about this subject.
Oh,
Here it is. Amanda. Definitely will be using a Faraday case. This is not normal considering the sound waves and lengths that they will be playing it at. Pretty sure it was at the exact same sound as an Amber Alert. I don't think it was any different.
No. It was not.
Definitely will be using a Faraday case.
Yeah, I will be too.
I will be too. I'm just going to... I've been sleeping in a Faraday case.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's a sleeping bag
That's like... I have watched this show. But the Better Call Saul McGill, Chuck McGill.
I don't know which one that is.
That's the brother of Saul, who like put all of his stuff... He like doesn't go outside and like wears like a foil.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. It's very much like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And they like... It plays in a little bit later in this series, but...
I'll have to see it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I still need to watch Breaking Bad. Every time I bring that up to people, they're like,
yeah, I haven't seen Breaking Bad, but I have seen the first like 3 seasons of Better Call Saul.
Wow, you went in the wrong order.
I know.
What happened there?
I don't know.
What happened to you?
I did get noticed by Bob Odenkirk once, though, on Twitter.
Yeah, well, I have a signed fucking book from him, so. From him, dude. He sent it to me.
Well, that'll do it. Yep.
Well, that'll do it.
Yep, I think that'll do it.
I'm gonna run it for real, actually. Moving on moving on to our What You're Listening To segment. Another segment we do every week where we recommend what we've been listening to in the past week to each other and to the audience. And Gavin's last week, the band noticed his and gave a big thank you because they were, like Gavin brought up, they were a smaller indie band, and I think that they jumped on it as soon as you posted it. I noticed too.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a minute after you posted it. They were
I
like,
didn't notice that.
"Oh my god, thank you so much!" And they're sharing it. It's super cool. I just think that it's like, I mean, it's awesome whenever, and this has happened to us a few times. That doesn't happen as often as we'd like it, but getting noticed by people who you don't know for any reason is a really cool thing. So I was glad that they saw that. But I have to issue an apology, Gavin.
Uh-oh.
Because I said I was going to start doing my Halloween music recommendations last week, and I completely forgot. But, I mean, mine last week, it still kind of counts. It's kind of a creepy, hardcore album. So we'll count it. We'll just pretend like I didn't forget. But this week, I literally remembered on Sunday at the drive-in that I completely forgot to do it.
You just had to get away from it all.
I said to run away, get away. So this week I am recommending my first. What I'm doing, in case you're new here, in case you're new around here, is during the whole month of October, every week I will be recommending Halloween adjacent music, horror soundtracks, other soundtracks.
He was wearing a horror soundtrack last week, I think.
Was I? Yeah, it was. Wow, that didn't even give me the hint at all. I recommended that the first year we did this, but I recommended leading up to Halloween. So you'll get 3. We'll get 3 in there for me. And the first one to start it off is an interesting one. I always kind of start slow and ramp it up as far as it goes, because in case you don't know me, I love holidays. I love especially Halloween and Christmas. Those are my two favorites.
They call him the Holiday Man.
They call me the Holiday Man, as you can see. So I listen to a lot of that music, but I always kind of like. I start with certain things, and then I kind of like ramp it up more and start listening to more.
You do that with Thanksgiving too.
Yeah, with Thanksgiving music. There is a Thanksgiving horror movie coming out that I want to see called Thanksgiving.
Really?
It looks pretty good. It's a slasher. I want to go see it. But
is it a turkey? Is it a killer turkey?
This is a big turkey. It's called Killer Turkeys from Outer Space. But I'm recommending the soundtrack. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, by Vince Gigliardi. It's a crazy last name to pronounce. Gigliardi. Giraldi. I don't know. It's probably Italian, though.
Probably Giraldi.
I'm sure it's Gigliardi.
Yeah, that's a lot easier.
Giraldi. Anyways,
Giraldi.
He did all of the Charlie Brown soundtracks, and I'm a Charlie Brown fan. I recommended the Christmas album last year, I believe, which I have the Christmas tree tattooed on my leg.
You love Christmas that much?
I do. And it was free. Kinda. It was a charity thing. But I'm recommending that album. I love it. I love all of Vince's soundtracks.
Oh, you guys are on first name basis?
Oh, yeah, dude. Well, I can't say his last name, so.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we are.
VG. We call him VG up here.
We call him the Big G. His soundtracks are awesome. Jazz soundtracks. I think he usually does it with a trio. They're really good. You know, the only thing is that there's really like one song to recommend off the album, because a lot of it's reprises, or it's like the Linus and Lucy theme or the Charlie Brown theme. So it's mostly just recommending the Great Pumpkin Waltz, which is like comes back many times. Same with the Graveyard theme. They kind of get reprised a bunch throughout the soundtrack. But really good. Kind of puts you in that Halloween spirit. I love that like Halloween jazz music too. I might be suggesting more of that later on, but this one's really fun to just kind of throw on and do something, you know, like cooking or, you know, something like that, just to get yourself in the spirit. Really good album, really good soundtrack, very beautifully done. I think you would like it. I think you should give it a spin.
I think
if you haven't. I'm sure you've
I
listened
know
to it.
him.
I know him.
I know him.
You seem like you grew up watching the Charlie Brown specials.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
I did too.
And
man.
all the
I need to
weird-
watch them again. I was thinking about that. I was like, I
All
need
the
to
weird
get-
animated things too.
Yeah, the Rankin Bass
Yeah.
stuff. That's my jam too. I'm gonna get really blasted high and watch. It's the Pumpkin Charlie Brown movie because I think that'd be a really fun thing to do. Gavin, what are you listening to this week? Because you're not joining me in the Halloween
No,
trek.
I don't have Halloween.
Sometimes you do at the end of the month. You'll join me. We'll see if you do it this year.
I did it.
No pressure.
I did it Hereditary last year, and that was before
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Last year, I think you did ELO.
Did what?
ELO, that song where he's speaking backwards at the beginning.
Oh, ELO.
ELO, that's what I said, right?
No, it sounded like you said yellow.
Oh,
ELO.
you recommended yellow.
Yeah.
No, yeah, ELO.
Yeah, ELO.
Maybe I just said it funny. Sorry.
This week I'm listening to. I guess this is just a demo reel. Actually, when I looked at it, the name of the EP is Demo or Demonstration,
Okay.
which is demo.
Bye.
By Big Boy, the band I recommended to you. They played Spade.
Oh, you were listening.
yes,
to
I
that.
was.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because it's a TikTok trend right now to have the Being AI stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's them like playing like underground basement shows, playing celebrities. So it'll be like Drake, George
Right.
Costanza, the people that are cleared by Bing to be used. Steve Harvey is one of them, and so this is their 2019 EP called Demonstration, and it's got like I think it's probably just samples, but they make it sound like they're playing a tape of like soul music in between songs or something like that, or at the end of songs. But it's the Spades one is funny because he says Ace of Spades.
It's weird because for me it's showing up as Spring Promo 2023.
That's the only one that they have on YouTube Music.
Oh, so it's
So
okay.
this is a 2019 EP on Spotify. And it might be on Apple Music, but I don't know. And so yeah, it's some hardcore. Not very hardcore. It's just kind of like he sounds like he's very fed up with things, kind of like anger.
Yeah,
It's not like
angsty.
it's not like a screaming kind of thing. It's just kind of like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's good. I liked
It's
it. You
really-
sent it to me. I listened to it today.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay.
You
Spades
did.
is funny.
I didn't love it, but I did like
it.
it.
was funny.
It was like close to being what I really liked.
Yeah. So it was good. So hopefully they put out some new stuff. So
Yeah, I like
we'll see.
I like that recommendation.
We shall see, folks.
I shall say, folks. Well, should we get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, I'm looking at all the bands that also are like that. Extinguish, Foghorn, Condition 1, Done Deal,
Foghorn,
Twist of
Leghorn.
Cain, You Lose, Feel the Flames,
You lose,
Terrena,
I've heard of.
Natural Human Instinct, Volcano, Out of Pocket,
Volcano, I've heard of.
Pain of Truth.
Pain of Truth, I enjoy.
Let's see. What do we got here?
Well, we're gonna get out of here.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for listening to Text All Kinds podcast, episode 135. 6. Keep watching, keep listening, keep subscribing, keep liking and everything like that. Carson.
Yeah, man, it's a fun time over here. And before this, just to give a little heads up, we got one more regular episode, and then the week after, our Halloween special will be a lot of fun. We just kind of planned out what we're gonna do, and a lot of fun things coming for that. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. And hopefully sometime soon we'll get a guest on the show here soon. I need to reach out to some people and do it. Sounds like Clownvis wants to come on. We didn't really fully say that, but Clownvis said he was up for coming on at some point and doing something. So I think that'd be fun. Get him into it. And that's really all I got.
The vultures are waiting to pick your bones.